A lantern glowed in the fog. Paper money skittered across the ground, and behind it, a figure moved, unnervingly upright, impossibly alive. In old China, there were road travelers never wanted to walk at night, not because of bandits, not because of wolves, but because the dead sometimes walked them instead. And if you saw one, there was a rule you never broke. You didn't follow, didn't speak, and you never looked too closely. What you're about to be told was once feared and revered, how ritual, belief, and necessity carved paths through the night, where the dead did not rest and the living risk everything to guide them. Some journeys don't end when the body stops moving. In traditional China, death was not an ending. It was an obligation, where a body rested mattered as much as how a life was lived. Buried far from home, a spirit could become restless, unanchored, dangerous. In places like the mountains of Ganshi in Hunan province, villagers believed the dead grew homesick, and a homesick spirit did not rest quietly. During the late imperial and Qing periods, millions worked far from home: miners, porters, loggers, soldiers. When death struck, returning a body was slow, costly, sometimes forbidden by law. Families who failed risked more than shame. They feared illness, misfortune, generations touched by imbalance. So when coffins couldn't travel, the dead had to. From this pressure came specialists known as Ganshi corpse walkers. They worked almost entirely at night. Lantern light bobbed through fog. Paper money scattered to calm wandering spirits. Low chanting marked their passage, and sometimes a black cat walked beside them. No one fully understood how it worked, and that uncertainty was part of the fear. The procession began quietly, often at dusk. One man walked ahead with a white paper lantern, chanting softly, "Yo-ho! Yo-ho!" Behind him came the figure, tall, stiff, wrapped in robes, its arms extended unnaturally, its movement precise, but not alive. Some whispered a helper hid beneath the cloth. Others believed the body moved on its own. Villagers kept their distance, but the inns never turned them away. They paid triple the rate, and hosts said the presence brought strange luck, good or very bad. There was one rule everyone agreed on. If a corpse walker ever stopped mid-road, no one was allowed to look. Even in the early 2000s, villagers remembered the walks. They moved silently. One man said, "The lantern never flickered, but you could feel them watching you, even if you weren't looking." A woman remembered fortune. "We let them sleep here." Guests said it brought luck. Others remembered sickness, failed crops, sleepless nights. Some said the dead watched too closely, an elder warned, and their eyes don't forget your face. No records explain it clearly. Some say bamboo poles carried the bodies upright, swaying like walkers in the dark. Others spoke of talismancular paper, marked in red placed on foreheads, to command obedience. Taoist legends describe peachwood swords and whispered spells. Checks of birth dates, ritual permission from the spirit, illusion, engineering, or belief made physical. To those who saw it, it didn't feel like trickery. It felt ancient and unfinished. Nothing was decoration. Paper money was a bridge. Lantern light was guidance. The black hat in some regions carried spiritual charge. The corpse walker did more than move a body. He negotiated passage between worlds that were never meant to touch. Imagine walking a mountain road at dusk. No wind, no birds, mist closing in. A lantern appears ahead. At first, another traveler. Then you notice the figure behind it. It doesn't walk like a person. Its steps are stiff, too even. Its height, wrong. You slow down. The lantern does not. And then you realize it's matching your pace. Your breath catches, not from fear alone, from doubt. Is this real? Or have you already made a terrible mistake? Fear wasn't superstition. People believed neglected spirits followed witnesses home. Shadows felt longer. Dreams turned heavy. Those who saw corpse walkers rarely spoke. Those who did never forgot. Historians still argue. Some say corpse walking was practical, bodies moved long distances without coffins. Others insist it was ritual, rooted in feng shui and ancestor worship. Skeptics explain the cats, the chanting, the illusion. Believers say those explanations miss the point, because the bodies arrived home. Some inns still tell the story. Travelers speak of lanterns drifting outside windows at dawn, of black cats returning night after night, not hungry, not afraid, just watching. Folklore carries culture. It carries fear, and sometimes it carries memory. The corpse walkers were never just stories. They existed where belief met necessity, where respect tangled with terror, where death refused violence. On misty roads, some say the lanterns still bob. If you hear chanting at night, don't look for the source. In old China, the dead never walked alone, and the living were never meant to walk with them, because some journeys are never truly over.